This is David again. These are some random coffee stains. I'm going to start making lines and seeing if I can find any shapes in here. This to me looks like a turtle, but the stain is telling me that it's not just a shell. It's more like a clasped hand or something. So it's not really a turtle. It's more like some exotic predator that just clasps onto animals that are faster than it, and like a rabbit or something, and just can go wherever it wants. Just tries to clasp onto other things and tries to get ahead in life. There he is, off to Wall Street. Over here, this is a very unsuccessful man because his head is split open, but it's not morbid because there's a giant tooth. But he's very unsatisfied with it. I mean, he has a normal job and everything, but he just he just needs a T-Rex extension to be happy. I can relate. Over here, it's kind of like a clown of some sort. And we have a shoe. Let's just make it a pile of garbage. And the head, we'll make that, instead of hair, it'll be a nuclear explosion with a nose to make it more clown-like. Anyway, over here, this is clearly a hippie. It's a hippie-shaped coffee stain. And he's out fishing, but he's a lazy hippie. He's like a baby boomer lazy. He's got a gut and everything, and he's just, instead of a fishing rod, he just shoots out his stomach, and catches the fish that way, like a basket or something. But he can't freak out the neighbors or other fishermen, so he dresses his stomach up like a butterfly. Oh, those hippies. Anyway, that's gross. Let's move over here. It looks like we have another vegan. I love vegans, especially ones that are shaped like T-bone steaks. And over here is like a, piece of cheese dressed like a ghost. Anyway, speaking of ghosts, I think this one looks like a ghost that is afraid, and it just came out of the shower. He's running out of the shower with his towel, and he's being chased by, what could a ghost be chased by? Let's put some grapes up there. Isn't he just a pile of groceries? Yeah, that makes sense. And over here, it looks like we got a hipster, and hipsters, they want to be different from hippies, so he's just going to wear his stomach on his head, but use an actual fishing pole, because he's not lazy. He's not a lazy hippie, he's a hipster. And over here, it looks like we got like a rhinoceros or something. It's got some folds. Actually, it's more like an elephant, I think. It's got elephant legs, at least, and a trunk here. Actually, it's more like an elephant comb over, or an elephant head extension. This man purchased his just recently, and it actually helps you do your taxes faster. But it does require you to feed it. It loves doors and pretty much any entrance or exit. Just don't be standing next to a door when someone has the elephant head extension on. So tax season, just beware. They do fly through the sky, and yeah. So anyway, that's everything. That's everything that's in my head today. Please subscribe, and I'll see you hopefully tomorrow. Right here, this long piece kind of looks like like a straw or something, or maybe it's part of a clown suit or something. Like the bottom part here is actually traditional clown attire, like the frillies and the polka dots and the stripes and whatnot, and maybe some contorted hands. But this long piece here, it's sort of like maybe this is how it introduces itself. It just sort of builds up, like you see the suit, and it builds up, and what comes out of the top is actually just a big disappointment, really. It's just a normal guy. Like, he doesn't even know how he got there. He's not an audience member or anything, or he wasn't at the event the clown was at. Just a normal guy who's probably busy doing something like changing a tire, and then blammo. He's the crown jewel of this clown outfit now. So over here, this kind of looks like a dog, just your regular dog. No particular breed, just dog. He's got dog ears and a dog nose. And then this is the egg here, and of course the spring. And for eyes, I think it's just a normal guy. So over here, this kind of looks like a bunny rabbit. Just your regular bunny rabbit. But the stain sort of looks like there's two bunny rabbits. Maybe this is just a weird bunny rabbit from the future where there's two of them in this flap thing. Then it lands over people's eyes and gives them an unwanted virtual reality experience. And he's very sad. But he deserves it because he's wearing a turtleneck. So right here, this kind of looks like a snail, but a snail that came out of a shell. This is actually what they look like. They have two tubes that are just like flinging around. They have all of his organs in there. It's kind of got this fleshy exhaust pipe in the back. And the occasional time it actually has exhaust. It's very heavy and thick, see right here. And it's been stuck in the exhaust pipe for God knows how many years. So first thing it does is it just throws up. I get it, it's traumatized, but it's no excuse to start smoking. Right here, this kind of looks like a guy maybe asleep or sleepwalking or something. So how did he end up sleepwalking without the rest of his body? Kind of looks like there's a big beauty mark here. He refused to get checked even though his wife told him to. And then it grew two very strong hairs, and then he refused to shave them, and then eventually they put on boots and just started walking away with or without his body, which would be a frightening thing walking down the street. Thankfully no one saw him yet. So based on the shape here, it actually kind of looks like a finger, but it extends all the way down here, and there's like pants. Maybe it's like a giant finger slinky and some like wool socks, but it kind of looks like the finger's resting on something. Maybe it's like a stool or maybe it's like a charger or something. This is like a static electricity conductor, and it's got the shag carpet down here. And this is like a charger, so the finger naturally gives it a shock, and then it'll just charge your electric car in 2 seconds. And if memory serves me correctly, this is what a Tesla looks like. And there's Casey. And he's obviously very happy with his new static electricity car charger, which charges his car in one shock. But the only problem with this charger is that there's a 200-year waiting list. So right over here, this kind of looks like an egg yolk. Maybe this is like the after story of Humpty Dumpty. It's like, yeah, he's smashed, he's all over the place, he's messy. People tried to put him back together, but he just waited till everyone's gone, and he put some Cheerios here for eyes so he can see where he's going. He puts on some pants, and it's all leaky everywhere. He puts on some high heels and then some cufflinks. He writes out a resume from the only piece of paper he could find, and he's off to the city. So right over here, this kind of looks like a ghost or something. Maybe with like an arm coming out the back, like it's a puppet. When you're younger and you're forced to watch a puppet show or something, and they make no effort to cover their arm up, and they're trying to teach you like a lesson about life, and all you can see is like their hairy arm, and they make absolutely no effort to cover up their voice, even though we just saw them speak. And all the lava comes out, and then it just eats through the floor into the basement, and everyone's running away screaming because everything's on fire now, and yeah, that's what school was like for me. No wonder I like drawing on stains. So over here, this kind of looks like a well-dressed man. Like he's so sophisticated and so worldly that his fingers extend out, and they have this epic battle with his nose hair in front of everyone. And people have to like stand back because that's like pretty dangerous. So right here, this sort of looks like maybe it could be like a hammerhead shark or like a weird dinosaur no one's discovered yet. And it comes around here, and it's just sitting here. It's a pretty interesting dinosaur, except for the vegan restaurant. Yeah, it's just like right in the middle. Like you have to climb over to the leg to get inside. It's not really worth it. And because of the language barrier, like they meant to say no meat, but they said don't meat, and they spelled meat wrong. And it's like, just the most uninviting place, really. Usually when I first start making some lines, things start coming to me. Like right here, kind of looks like a sweater. And it comes around here and then down here, and you can kind of tell by the hands that it's sort of an uncomfortable situation. And I think judging by the stain up here, it sort of looks like it may have been a U-boat going straight down to the bottom of the ocean. And just before it hit the bottom, it decided to finally go to that ugly Christmas sweater party. I think that's why its hands are like that. It's very uncomfortable at things like that. And over here, this looks to me like a nose. Kinda looks like a hat here. I think this little thing is asleep. And I think instead of a jawbone and like a mouth, it has all the insides of a burger. Like not a hamburger, but all the toppings, like ketchup and pickles and mayonnaise and cheese and tomatoes and onions and a cod and some milk and a first place medal and a Ukrainian psychic, just all the normal stuff. It must be quite challenging to speak. Oh, he's probably dead. And over here, this sort of looks like a shoe, or like one of those loafers or boat shoes, but it kind of looks like it's attached to something. Like maybe it's like an ear, like it's growing an ear, or maybe it's a person growing a loafer. Kind of looks like he's in a lot of pain, like this loafer might be a bit too much for him, but I can't really imagine why. Oh, maybe it's because everyone keeps throwing burnt frogs in there. Yeah, that must be painful. And over here, this is obviously a hand. I mean, who's denying that? This is obviously fingers. It's sort of making it's sort of making the loser sign. I'm not really sure that's what it means anymore either. Like, I mean, when I was younger, that was like 10,000 years ago. It meant loser, but now I think it means I clogged your toilet. Do you have a plunger? I think that's what it means. I should try that and see how it works. I'm just gonna start tracing around here and just to see where this goes. This right here kind of looks like a sea creature, maybe like a lobster or something, but not really the traditional kind that we all know. Like this claw is like extra big, and that tail kind of looks like it's scrunched up or something, and face looks kind of strange too. And this claw is pretty much normal, except the very tip kind of looks like President Nixon, just a little bit. And then over here, this kind of looks like an elephant with maybe a nose job, just so she can go to that party and, absolutely show off her shoes that she can't really wear. So she just sort of crushes them, and the edges, I'm sure, bend around and clamp on there. So she's technically wearing them. And there's a little martini and, just to enhance that apparent attitude. And then right here, this is kind of like a turtle or like a Mario character or something. Like it's kind of got this the face of a turtle, and then the bottom part I think is just a bag of street needles. So you better watch out so you don't stab yourself. But other than that, he's pretty healthy. I mean, there's a protein shake right there. So it's all good in the hood. So right over here, this kind of looks like a chin of a human. You got the mouth down here and everything, but it looks kind of like there's something eating its head, like a big piece of like bacteria or something. Like it's like this germ is trying to eradicate maybe a disease on this person, and I think it disguises itself as like a household object, like a telephone. This is what a telephone used to look like. And it's sort of eating away now. I wonder what the disease is. I mean, everything looks normal. You got the shoulders here, and then it's like, oh, wow, it's President Nixon again. Yeah, that'll get your phone to eat your head for sure. So it looks like right here we have like a vacuum cleaner with a slightly ambitious lean on it, which is kind of strange. If you leave an ambitious vacuum cleaner in the closet with a typewriter, it will grow a finger and start typing. So you just have to be careful when you're going to use the vacuum cleaner. If you continue to use it, that it's not right in the middle of a novel, because it'll start sucking up nervously all the stuff it's written to hide it from its owner. So that's a fire hazard. So just got to be careful of that. And this sort of looks like a hairstyle that you'd see at the Oscars, with the stilettos in the hair, and that extension piece on the side where you can have your tap dancing legs, and and of course the earring. There's only one earring, and that's actually a wooden stage for the tap dancer. But make sure the tap dancer can reach, so it can power your your dough. It actually bakes the dough, and by the end of the show, hopefully you'll have a nice, successful raisin bread, for people to share. But if your tap dancer can't reach the stage, then that's, it's just going to be cold dough by the end. So if you've got a dog with a hairstyle somewhat similar, maybe the dog can help you out. But the dog style, and it actually requested the vomiting man hairstyle, which is exactly how it sounds. It's literally a vomiting man, and the vomit can actually extend further down in two places towards the stage, and they can substitute as legs if you were to put tap shoes on. And with that, it can actually reach the stage no matter what, I believe. And they can just reach down and start tap dancing immediately if you needed assistance to bake your raisin bread. And actually, I don't think they even allow dogs at the Oscars. So, yeah. So right here is like a outdoor stove or a fireplace where you got the smokestack above, and the smoke comes out and touches the nearest person's arm, and then steals their very soul and stores it underground in cider containers for Christmas. And over here, this kind of looks like the guy that was in front of me at the bank today. He had like a very strange looking winter hat with a ruby and these two eyes that sort of spilled out of his head, and he went up to the bank teller and asked for a bank draft, and the teller said, "No, I think you mean a direct deposit slip." And then a nose grew out of the top of his head suddenly and just sort of sneezed out this Italian dinner. And the bank teller never even noticed. She just said, "I'll explain the difference between the two if you explain that zipper on your face." And he said, "There's no zipper on my face at all, but there's a black tie attached to the nose that just grew out of my head. It happens to be blowing in a different direction than the Italian dinner you refuse to acknowledge." And then she asked him if he would like to dance, and then I got out of there before it got weird. So this kind of looks like a side view of like a bus driver with a very square mouth. And he's got kind of like this like a sponge coming out of his mouth. Like it's like a perfect fit for a square mouth as a square sponge. And I think he's maybe even thinking about the sponge while it's in his mouth. And it's like in bus form, of course. And I think it's soaked in alcohol based on the flames. Speaking of realism, this guy right here, he's 100% real. He's got a massive chin, but like other than that, he's perfectly normal. He's balding a little bit, but that's fine. He's doing great health wise. He just has this massive like black head on the front of his chin that it has a brain, but it doesn't really speak or anything. It's just conscious of itself. But that's all you really need in a black head. He puts lipstick on it occasionally, or tries to. I mean, for when they go out in public and whatnot, and they're meeting their other friends. They both have mutual friends. It's just, like everyone would understand if the lipstick isn't perfect. You know what I mean? They all understand that. Just make sure it doesn't look like a hot dog covered in ketchup or something. Anyway, that's everything in my head today. And please check out my t-shirt shop in the description below. There are a few designs from previous episodes. If you see a design from any of the other episodes that you'd like to see on a t-shirt or sticker or whatever, just please let me know in the comments. If you want to send in your own coffee sheets for me to draw on in an episode, please message me here or on Facebook or Instagram. This could include, if you want, a shout out. People have also been messaging me asking to purchase the original art from the episodes. They are for sale. Just message me on Facebook or Instagram for more information. I'm back to uploading daily, so please subscribe and hit like and leave a comment, and please share the episode. So I think that's it. I'll see you here tomorrow for another episode. Thanks for watching.